for all of us who practice as GALs, a lot of times we are not paid as much as other attorneys in domestic, and sometimes we are not given the respect as full attorneys, sort of, we've all had that, like, I don't get an exhibit book. Why? What? Or I sit in the jury box. But one of the things that we know is we all have each other's back. And that just like we surrounded Hank when there was that attack on his cell phone and that produced something. We're doing this with Elaine because I think we found that there are strength in numbers. And Hank was the one that suggested that we get together just like we did him. And it was everybody. As soon as the email was out from Hank and me, it was yep. So that's what we are. Elaine is being, we all get attacked as GALs, but this has risen to a new level that is so unjust and so harmful and consuming. I mean, that 60-page suit is disgusting, and it's disgusts all of us. So what we're doing, Elaine, is, all of us here are supporting you 100%. So this is to support you today, but we're also, we also want to do what we can collectively. Elaine, where are you in the case? What is just happening? What is before the court right now? Like, what's your next hearing?
So procedurally, there's a motion to dismiss that's scheduled for hearing tomorrow. And so you guys probably have seen it in the case net. There's 3 defendants, Jim Reed, myself, Jennifer Webby. Actually, I guess there's 5. And then they sued Jim's company and then Jennifer's company, West County Psych. So there's technically five defendants. I don't really know why they didn't sue my law firm, but they didn't. So all five have different defense lawyers. All 5 have filed motions to dismiss. And then there's also additional motions about protective orders. Today. Okay, I just got a note that maybe we're not having a hearing tomorrow. The judge just recused himself. So,
who is the judge?
It was Judge Wallach.
And I had heard that was probably a good place to be. I mean, he studies the law and he does all that.
I wonder if they're going to seek somebody from a different county since they're arguing that this is a systemic thing.
So I didn't know that. My Liz, my law clerk, just handed that to me right now. So I guess I don't know where that leaves us, but basically that's what had been going on. So there's five different defendants. My motion to dismiss is basically about judicial immunity or quasi-judicial immunity, standing, and then I had asked him to throw in some factual stuff because on a motion for judgment on the pleadings, they had attacked an order they said I violated, which doesn't even make any sense. So that's what I had pending. They had filed an amended petition alleging just like way more factual stuff and bringing in all these other cases that I was on. So I think there was a motion to correct that. They had asked, I think all the defendants had asked for a protective order regarding discovery because of minors and other people, which the plaintiffs are fighting. So that was also set for today. Basically tomorrow, every motion that's until like the middle of December was set for hearing. So I guess I don't really know where this is going to leave us. Yeah, it's going to go to the county. I don't know.
Can I ask, like a show of hands, how many of you are receiving the daily docket? What is it called? Daily docket news.
Well, I have to say, sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't.
I don't ever get it.
You want us to put you on the mailing list?
Yeah, would you please?
I don't always get it either. Sometimes it goes to different people. It's weird.
Right.
I was going to say they have different lists because, you know, in my office, Larry gets it sometimes. Some weeks Larry gets it and some weeks I get it. And then they also, sometimes it goes into my spam and sometimes it doesn't. So it depends on the link that they're sending it out with, I think.
Yeah, same here. And it's, from what I've noticed, it's usually coming from the same email address, but like assuring that sometimes it goes to spam, sometimes it doesn't. Some weeks I get it, some weeks I don't. So I don't know.
Is it coming out weekly?
It seems to come out every couple weeks. There wasn't a pattern to it, and now it seems to come out like every 2 weeks on a Monday. But they do seem to change, like who gets it. I never get it. Sometimes Rachel, my associate, gets it. Sometimes she doesn't. And then what they started doing was now they've sent it to a board that I'm on. I assume they're probably sending it to the church I'm part of because they've gone on my bio and seen, you know, who I'm a part of. So like, these random neighbors of mine are like, hey, why did I get this Daily Docket News? What's going on? I'm like, okay, well, I'm being cyber stalked. So there doesn't, it might come at different times today. So like Mark Hafner forwarded it to me Monday at 9. The one to my board came in about 5. So I don't know how that works in terms of how they circulate it.
Elaine, are you wanting it to be sent to you once we get it so you see it or no?
I mean, normally somebody sends it to me,
So you want that then?
Yeah, I mean, I want to get them just so that I know what's being said, you know. I mean, I don't want to get them, but if they're out there, I want to get them. So.
Is your attorney getting them? The attorney that's representing you, is he getting it?
Well, he gets some of them. So I normally will forward them to him, and sometimes he'll be like, oh, I didn't get this one, and sometimes he gets them. Same thing, like one of my partners was getting them, then he stopped getting them, the other partner doesn't get them. It's very random.
Well, the interesting thing is that they have, I mean, they have access to a lot of confidential information. So the question is, what's the resource?
All right, so I'm gonna dive into this. There is a concern that licensed attorneys might be getting this information and feeding it. And, you know, when it came out, Sarah Mahler sent several of us an email saying her client in a paternity case was sent something via U.S. mail about this. So how did somebody get into the court record on something that should be closed? Hank and I did this just this morning, a test. And when you're a lawyer and you put in something like he put in one of my paternity cases and that sort of thing, you can sometimes get it. And then sometimes if you had the case number, he just got it even logged out. So that's something to take up with the court for one thing. Is it a lawyer? Is it somebody in the circuit clerk's office?
And I'm not trying to be mean. It is more so than an attorney not on the case can get.
So,
Or a paralegal. Somebody's paralegal may be getting it.
Oh, that's true. I'm not trying, right. I like my court clerk. I like the court clerk, so it's not anti them, but I'm just think out of the box.
Sarah, do you think there's something that you could raise with Burton too? If somebody's got a case number and it's a paternity case, it still shouldn't be coming up.
Right.
You know, so maybe there's really a problem within the security settings within the system too.
Yeah, I'll raise that. But Sharon, tell me again, in Sarah Mahler's case, the plaintiff's attorney called.
So yes, and I will tell you, Larry got the call from the other attorney, so he could give you more details, Sarah, if after this call you even wanted to call Larry and get more information. I actually called, I knew because I've been involved with this, and Judge Burton, with the email that you sent, I put a call into Judge Burton so he could look into that, and I haven't heard back from him yet. But when I talked to his clerk, she's like, he is so overwhelmed with everything that, you know. So I have information about that. I can get that to you after the call, but the attorney actually called the other counsel and kind of left a nasty message that they do have saved. So that may be also something they want to access and contact that attorney.
All right, so Elaine is keeping a lot of this information to herself and her legal team, which I think is a really wise course of action given how this net goes out. One of the things, Elaine, that we wanted to bring up with you is if your legal team wanted to talk to any of us to see how we could help. And even though you're a lawyer, when you're on this side of the desk, you really don't have the perspective all the time. You really need them. So if you want to reach out to them and say that any of us would be willing to talk to them to see if we can help. And I don't know that we can, but we would. Okay? All right. Then that brings us to the next one. Elaine has an expert. She has identified an expert. I don't know who this person is. I don't want to know. But they think that they might be able to uncover this. And this is where it gets costly. They, according to Elaine, there are either 3 or 4 tiers of the work that they do. And they've done the first tier and it's come up with nothing. So then you go to the second tier. They feel that they may be able to uncover this. These people cost $425 an hour. And Elaine has been dragging her feet saying, no, nobody needs to contribute. No, I will do it. But I have gotten her to say that she will accept, because Dave said, if Elaine thinks that that's not appropriate, maybe we get an expert on our own to try and do it, but it seems to be more efficient. So for those of us who would want to contribute to that, we need to not send a check to Elaine, according to her lawyers. We need to send it to one lawyer, and then they will send it to her law firm. Any discussion about that?
Well, can I ask, is the expert a computer forensics expert trying to track down, who's doing this and where this is coming from? I mean, that's what I was going to suggest that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's a great idea. I think that's our best chance. If we can really all pull together to do something, it's to try to financially support this and give them enough money that they may really be able to uncover it, because I don't know how we're going to figure it out otherwise. I mean, there are other things that may come in, but this seems to be the best shot at really trying to get somewhere.
Well, I think it makes sense to do it within Elaine's case, because then it kills 2 birds with one stone, hopefully, which is, Elaine can use it in her case, and then we know who it is. Mm-hmm. So,
Elaine, have they given you an estimate of how much time they are going to spend doing this? And also, I have a second question. Has anybody figured out if there's a connection between this and Senate Bill 623 that was introduced? And because there was some real... Can
you repeat that, Amy? You went dead.
I'm on, what, pardon me?
You froze.
Oh, sorry. I just am wondering if this has any connection with Senator, well, he's retired now, but Senator Libla, L-I-B-L-A. He's the one that constantly introduced bills that were taking away powers of guardian ad litem or adversely impacting our ability to do our work. Senate Bill 623 is the one that ended up getting passed. There were some amendments, I think, that made it a little more palatable, but he was really the driving force. And this is all rumor. I don't have this confirmed, but I think he is a part of that Mad Dad group. So the first question, Elaine, was how many hours have they estimated they think they may need?
So they did it in, like Sarah said, kind of like tiers. They said, like the first level, bottom line is like 24 hours would be the max, most likely. So the first level, they would hope they could uncover something on the first level. They did find some stuff, but it's not super helpful. So then they said, okay, second tier, here's what we could do. And it may lead to something. The third tier is a little bit more unlikely. Like they really have to, that would be more unlikely. So I would doubt that I would go to the third tier. If it's not likely after the second tier, I may just say, you know what, I've tried and we got as far as we could go. So apparently
I just did some quick math. So even if you went up to the 24 hours,
Yeah.
there at 425, there's 38 of us on the call, and I'm sure not everybody can help or may not be able to or whatever. But even if everybody helped to get to the 24 level, that's $265 per person here. So
Listen, I know Sarah alluded to this. I'm 100% doing this. You know, I'm happy.
I did not bear this burden.
I signed it.
Yeah, that's not okay. We need to be in this with you, Elaine, because it affects all of us.
Well, and also it's self-serving, Elaine. If you want to just like make yourself feel better about it, it's self-serving. You're just the first. I mean, well, we've all been hit with problems. Some of us have had to file even orders of protection against people. I mean, it's, you know, it's the nature of the beast. But this is at a level unprecedented. And, you know, once they take you down, then we're all next.
Well, just look around. There's only a very few of us that have not been named. And those that haven't been named, you likely will be soon because they're adding. So they will be going after everybody they can find. And the Mad Dad, you know, it's interesting because a couple of these lawsuits are with women, mad women, but I don't know. But I think Elaine thought that it might go as high as $10,000. So I know that she would not, we will just, if you want to contribute, whoever's treasurer here, we'll just send the checks and that's it. And then Elaine, you're not even going to know who's giving and who's not giving. And
Who's the treasurer? Who's the treasurer, Sarah?
who's going to volunteer?
I see Bill Grant.
He's not even on this damn thing.
I know. Why is it not perfect?
Because I told Hank yesterday, you know, Bill and I are on the sunset of our careers. You know, we're going down. I don't know. Will somebody be treasurer?
I'll be happy to be treasurer if you want.
All right.
Hey, thank you, Greg.
Uh-huh.
Greg, can you put your address in the chat?
Sure.
And Bill Grant thanks you too.
Greg, can we just PayPal or Venmo you, or?
I prefer a check. I prefer like a paper trail if possible.
And you think it needs to go in your IOLTA account, Greg?
Yeah, I think it should be a separate bank account. I hate to say.
I think it needs to go in your IOLTA.
And
Okay,
what do
I
you
can do
want? What do you want in the memo thing? Because if this is going to be an ongoing thing, would you want it to say GAL committee?
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Wait a minute. Does that, like in the memo, is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, but we'll make it to Greg, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Or would it be better to put in their expert fees?
Because what if there's too much, if there's more money than Elaine needs, then Greg would have to go through, figure it all out. She get a return of their funds. But if you do the GAL fund, then if for other events, we could use the money. So no, when you donate, you're not getting it back.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yeah, so we could come up with like an informal name, like maybe the GAL team fund or something that everyone puts in the memo line. That way Greg is very clear. And then at the end of the lawsuit, when all this is behind us, if there's money left over, we can save it for something else, or we can all collectively decide to donate it somewhere, or we can kind of look and see what the situation is then.
Or a happy hour?
Yeah, we have a victory party.
Yep.
So this is Venus. Hi, everybody.
Hey, Venus.
Did you guys get the latest email that listed like almost everybody in their cat GALs, including Bruce?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure, and I don't know how this person got my email. Like, I'm just trying to figure out, you know, what's going on, but I wasn't sure.
You know, Sarah, and everybody, there are a lot of attorneys that were included on all these emails that are not on this call and are not GALs.
Right.
I've been in touch with a lot of them, and I am certain that they would like to help and donate and do whatever they can because they're being thrown under the bus as well. So this isn't just the 38 of us. This is larger than this call.
I'm all for spreading the word however we can and getting more people.
And this is Siobhan, did I understand this is going in a separate account, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Does anyone have any opinion? I mean, I was figuring on using my trust account, but do you think I should set up a separate account for this? I mean, I'll do whatever.
Separate account. Separate account to check this out.
Trust account is
If
okay.
you put it in the IOTA account, if you get audited, you'll get in trouble.
Our OCDC attorney is speaking.
I would certainly recommend a separate account.
Okay.
Yes, this is not for a client, so.
That's a lot of work, Greg.
Yeah.
It is, and you do not want anything to happen to that IOLTA account because it will be combed through.
So can I ask something really crazy? What if we just made it to Greg?
That's fine. It wouldn't go in the IOLTA. He would deposit it into a separate account, obviously.
It like just his own checking account, because I trust Greg to use the money, and if there's leftover, we all figure out what to do with it. But would that get him in trouble?
I would think.
I don't think it's a matter of trust. If we want some reports, Greg needs it to be so that he can report it as a separate item. And also, we can name it whatever we want, but that would require opening a bank account in the name of an entity. So much better to have Greg account for it on, by a separate account or by some kind of a fee. I don't know.
Does that have any tax implication for Greg?
I'm sorry.
I think opening a separate account is going to be an enormous hassle.
I think it would be too. If Greg could just keep track of it himself on a sheet, we all trust him. There's not an issue there. I don't think.
Is there any reason we could not pay directly Elaine's forensic company? They could establish a link and we could contribute via their link.
I don't think Elaine wants that out who it is. There's the paper trails. Look at who's infiltrated. So I think that it's got to go through her lawyer.
Okay.
I think Lynn's question was very important. Does this create a tax problem for Greg?
Well, if we have it made out like we're talking about, and he's keeping track of it, then it's clearly not income to him. It would just be that he's parking it in his account, even
Or
in
if
his
it-
business account.
If the IRS were to count it as income, then he would have a check, presumably a big check to the forensic person, whoever that is, that would then balance that out, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I think the approach I'd want to take would be to just put it in my trust account. I mean, I understand that may create problems, but I mean, I just kind of view that as being where I put money that doesn't belong to me. And so, I mean, I'd like to put it in there and then write it out of there and keep my accounting that way if that would work for everybody.
Okay, Greg, make sure you listen to what Siobhan Harris has to say. She's on the disciplinary committee. And she said,
Aren't we a client as a GAL team, though?
What,
Yeah,
Jennifer?
that's right. Yeah,
Aren't
Jennifer,
we kind of considered like a client as a GAL team? Kind of?
Couldn't you open up a matter in your firm for Elaine?
Or us as the GAL
Right.
team?
For us, is the GAL team.
Okay.
Yeah, in the operating account, yes.
Oh, okay. Not trust, but operating.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even if
stay
it's
away
into
from the trust.
Yeah.
The other thing, I think we finished that, right?
Well, to be clear, how do you want the check made payable, and do you want anything in the memo?
I think payable to me and GAL committee or whatever we want to call it in the memo, so I know what it's for.
Well, if you're
Why
going to
don't
be
we
opening
generate
up the
an
matter,
email?
shouldn't we just call it that? Like, how are you going to open up the matter in your firm?
I think I'll call it GAL committee if that's all right.
Then I think the check should be made payable to your firm.
You're looking at my firm.
Well, then I don't know. I haven't seen one of your pleadings in a while. Is it Greg Bruff LLC?
No, it's just Gregory Bruff, attorney at law.
All right, well then that's, I think, how the check should be made payable, and then in the memo, GL committee.
Okay.
Okay.
I'd recommend we generate an email with all of this information. As it was pointed out, there's non-guardians and other guardians who haven't participated. We may as well sort of generate, this is what's happening. Do you agree?
Sure. I don't know that I'll get everybody else's email on there. I think I need to get Siobhan. I don't think I have you on my list. What's your email, Siobhan?
SLH ATTY at AOL.com. I'm revealing my age with that.
I have Gmail, so I'm even older. Let's see, who else?
Are we then comfortable with forwarding this email to other attorneys who may want to support the cause?
Elaine?
Is there any downside to that if these people kind of have access to things?
Let me find out. I'll ask my attorney and see if he has an issue with it. I had told him before that there were certainly other guardians and family law professionals that were very upset about what was going on and interested in working with the expert. And he said he didn't have any problem as long as I wasn't spearheading it, you know. He didn't want the leader.
I mean, not to put too much on Greg, but should he send out the emails under the heading of GAL committee? I mean, that way it's all going through Greg, and and potentially you can argue that we're all his clients, or.
Of course, once we start sending it out to more people, if we're his clients, then it's it's kind of closing that client confidentiality to the extent that we might need that with the people attacking us.
That's where I think we need to find out from Elaine, from her lawyer first. Do we really need to keep this quiet, or is it just going to become part of the scheme, and they make an even bigger deal out of it if they figure it out?
Well, and are we opening up some sort of a, if we've then created some sort of grouping or class or something, does it change kind of what happens?
Does it change what happens in what respect?
Well, if we're opening up they don't have to have an actual cause of action to file a lawsuit. So if we somehow have a committee that they come across or something, do they then somehow file a lawsuit against every single person that's on this, committee in some sort of a class action of something else, even if it doesn't exist? I mean, they made up a whole bunch of things in the lawsuit against Elaine. I mean, some of the allegations aren't even legal theories, but they still said it. So could they do that as well if it becomes too public?
Okay.
Well, and my concern is if we think there's some, mole, so to speak, that's funneling information, we don't know who that is.
Right.
One of these emails lands in somebody's inbox, and it's got, 48 attorneys on it. I mean, I don't want to make this more than it is, but it's not hard to incorporate a quick LLC.
Yeah, but in some ways,
for the purpose of,
But that legitimizes them trying to sue the corporate.
Yep.
So as if we're a non-entity, I don't think they can do anything. But I really think we should be guided by whatever Elaine's attorney tells us. We need that information, I think, and they know what's going on here, so that may help us a little bit if we get some advice back from Elaine.
Well, I think she did speak with them this morning, and they said send it through another lawyer, right, Elaine?
Right, yeah.
But I'm talking about the email itself. If we're all on something, is there something that they might see potentially that could backfire in some way? I don't know what it is, but it seems, you just don't know how something may be used or what they may do with that. And I think Justin's right about the point, if there's a mole in here somewhere that we don't know about, or it just starts getting sent out and gets sent to somebody, what are they going to do with that?
I don't think there's any need for an email. We're all taking notes, and we can all proceed from here.
I think I agree with Hank. If we're worried about emails, we all know each other, word of mouth. Attorneys that aren't on here, email a check to Greg.
Yeah, and I think that way we know, if we would know then, that means somebody's approached us about it, or we heard about it through somebody. It gives us more control over who that is.
I agree.
Yeah.
Less paper trail is the best. I agree with you, everybody else.
I'm trying to see who isn't on this call, like, so I could reach out to them specifically. Jill Patton isn't, is she? Jen Graves, I know that she said she had another thing.
All right, we need to let her know.
I know Simone had another thing too.
Yeah.
Okay, Venus Harry. Ron Wessel. Dunlop. Joan. I don't know who Joan is, do I? At stl.lawfirm. Do we know who that is?
It's Colton. That's Colton.
Okay, that's right. And then Celeste.
Can you add Brandy Miller on there as well?
Yep. Okay. All right. So I think we got the money taken care of. We're just sending a check to Greg. Okay. The other thing may be that, Hank and I have been batting around some ideas about what could be done to uncover who's doing this. And as opposed to just batting them around here, maybe send an email to Elaine, just with your idea of what could we do to uncover this? And other than that, we're gonna, the meeting is this afternoon that Judge Burton is calling. And I think now that more judges are being called out and named, I'm sure it has gotten their attention, but this threatens to take down the entire system. The judges are in on it. I have taken Elaine to task though in this Cash for Kids scheme that I was originally named in. I haven't received a penny. I don't know where that money is. It's COVID.
On top of that, you're running a Ponzi scheme, Elaine? How dare you?
Right. We should all be really wealthy by now.
Yeah. I mean, when you're selling kids,
right,
there's got to be some money attached to that.
Yep.
And that's an idea. We could adopt the identity. We could call ourselves Cash for Kids.
Oh, yeah, LLC. Financials. It is growing. I mean, I've got a case now with Laura where the mom's really mad at me all the time. But one of the things among the many threats that she's done is that I know 4 or 5 other families and we're getting together and we're hiring a lawyer. And I don't know that she is. A lot of what she says isn't the truth, but there's a part that she certainly knows about this stuff.
Well, it's going to be an attraction for the people. There are always people that are pissed off at us. So one other question I've got, Sarah, is are the judges, I'm assuming they are, but are they now beginning to be pretty versed in this? And do they know? I had a trial on Friday where Dr. Reed was testifying, having done the evaluation. And I objected to the question when he was asked whether or not there was a lawsuit and or there were lawsuits against him. And I brought this up as an issue and it was in front of Zellweger. I don't know whether she really knows that much about it or not. I mean, is Burton? And she overruled the objection, didn't she? Yes, she did. And I likened it to, that it's just an allegation. It's not probative. I said it wasn't probative evidence. Like being arrested. Right, exactly. So, but it was overruled. And I don't know if she does or not. I mean, is Judge Burton, has anybody had conversations with him so that he does understand what's going on with this, or is that
He understands. He's reached out to, I know he reached out to Mound City Bar Association to ask for a representative to the meeting today So he is taking this very seriously because he forwarded to, I think, all the bar associations. I don't know if all the judges, but I do think that everybody that does domestic should be aware of it, because his last email mentioned McKee, mentioned Bruce, mentioned a couple other people. So if they're not abreast of it, I think that whoever's at the meeting should bring that up to the judge, that, you know, this issue is there. But I do know that he's aware of it because he's reached out to bar associations.
I will ask today, but I think that, like Bina said, he's incorporating, but that's something that they need to get a hold of.
Right. Yeah, I just don't know how much they know about it and how much it's filtered down to the other judges. And I can't be at the meeting this afternoon, so I just want to make sure that gets addressed.
Okay.
Is someone attending that meeting this afternoon?
Yeah, I am.
Do you want to just bring it up as an issue that we see, and making sure that Burton at least makes sure that the domestic judges are aware of it?
Yep. I will.
And don't forget that Judge Zellweger may have just let it in so that it's not an issue for appeal. It doesn't mean that she's giving weight to it.
That's a good possibility, you know, and it does avoid that.
Maybe, but you know, we don't have many people to do custody evaluations.
No.
The pool is this deep. So I'm sure everybody has some pros and cons about Jim Reed. I mean, but he's one of the substantial ones. And if he's knocked out, or if he says, like Elaine does, and like Jen's getting ready to do, I don't want to do this anymore, it's not worth it, then we're
right. That's the really big danger here that I think we all have to be aware of, and that the judges in the court need to be aware of, because if they start losing their guardian ad litems and we don't have therapists and counselors and forensic psychologists who will do this work, I don't know what they're going to do. And, you know, so it's a really far-reaching issue.
Okay.
These are going, just so you know, they are going out to therapists also. And I don't know where they get their names, but I've had a couple therapists that I work with that I know they're getting the letters. So, and I don't know how that works. Or maybe you do. Maybe you guys have license addresses like we do. But I'm getting lots of calls from people about that kind of stuff. So, and the number of therapists that will work with families that are in litigation is also a small pool.
That's
so
right.
those are going to be shrinking also. I mean, I already have tons of people that won't call me back, and I don't take it personally. But when I call and say, "Hey, I've got a case. Would you be interested?" Nope. You know. And now what? Now no one's going to. You know, if I mention, oh, by the way, the last couple of cases I referred to people they got sued on. So that's another problem.
Yeah, that's a huge problem, and that's why, you know, we're going to end up and the court will end up in a really, really sad situation if we can't seem to get a handle on this somehow.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I was actually curious. Are people considering stopping GL work? I mean, I know some people probably aren't in a position to do that. I've certainly considered it.
I haven't, because otherwise
I'm very seriously considering it.
Nordstrom or something, you know. I don't have any other kind of business. But
No, I understand. I was just wondering if that crossed anybody else's mind.
yeah, it crossed Jen's mind. I got to go to the other screen. I don't know if it crossed anybody else's mind.
Yes. It's crossed almost everybody's mind.
Right.
You know, the question is what we
It hasn't crossed my mind because my clients don't have money for forensic. You know, the clients that I get on my GAO cases don't have money. So I'm kind of in the back, you know, I'm supporting, I'll do whatever I need. But I mean, my clients complain all the time, but most of them don't have money for forensics, you know, anything.
You know, I would
It's not about getting paid for me.
I don't want to give into it. You know, for a lot of us, I don't think we want to give into that the same way when we used to talk about for a while when attorneys were trying to DQ us all the time. You know, you don't want to give into that. And wouldn't think, you know, any of us really want to give into it. But if it gets bad enough, yeah, I think probably, I can't imagine it hasn't crossed almost everybody's mind that's in this room.
Has anybody looked into whether or not this is happening in other jurisdictions or other states?
Daily Docket News says they're highlighting other states too. I think that's baloney, or that they have like 1 million readers nationwide.
They allege they're incorporated in the state of New York, and I searched the database and I couldn't find them, so I suspect it's just bullshit.
Yeah. It's a fake. I hate to say this. It's fake news. There is no such thing. Simone, I don't know. You guys were probably on it. Said apparently it's going out to some other counties. And one of the ones where they mentioned a lot of GALs, there were a couple of people I didn't know. Oh, I think Sarah Marlar told me that. Like some of these were some outstate people that they had found, and apparently they're sending it to Kansas City, Columbia, Jeff City. I don't know if it's getting any traction out there, but apparently this particular stuff is going to those people. But
you know, it's important to remember that a lot of the people that we see that are so difficult in our cases are personality disordered, and people with personality disorders will take an unbelievable vengeance. They will at times not stop at anything. Studies actually have shown that a lot of them love litigation because it puts them in the spotlight and it gives them an audience. And so I think we have to be aware that whoever's behind this most likely is somebody like that, and or a group of them, and they're not going to easily stop. You know, the fact that they're getting anywhere will, I think, actually fuel them in some ways. So
I have a question. Or do you think that this has any impact on what we originally started this group and talked about was because of the legislation about changing GAL standards and things like that? I just have a fear that if this continues, there's going to give even more traction to ratifying the GAL standards and things of that sort. And I just, you know, it's hard enough to do our jobs, but now, you know, now we got to, I don't know, I just feel some kind of way about it. I feel like the GAL standards is, you know, is a part of this whole thing.
I think ultimately you certainly could be right. You know, I think when all this stuff started, and yeah, that would, again, give them a whole lot of fuel. I think this is a way to even go around that, though, and try to destroy the system in another way. So, you know, all of these are reasons why I think it's really important for us to try to do whatever we can to try to, you know, get to the bottom of this.
So I'm sorry Simone's not here. You some of you may know Simone has started essentially a nonprofit lobbying group for guardian ad litems. And that was founded initially to address the legislative issues that Amy referenced earlier in our Zoom session. And that's probably where a lot of our energies probably will need to be focused going forward, is to think how can we protect ourselves more from a statutory perspective, which may need to be extended to add counselors, giving them qualified immunity when they are appointed under family court litigation. We need to probably pursue more statutory protections than we've ever contemplated to incentivize qualified people from participating in this world.
Yeah, you're on that group, aren't you, Dave?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a really good point, David, because, you know, our legislature is so crazy that it's scary to think about what they may do. I mean, I read yesterday, you know, they're busy trying to pass a bill that you can use deadly force against protesters. So, you know, it is really scary to think about what they may do. So you're right. This is sort of could be an adjunct to what Simone's trying to do, or if we can figure this out, it's, you know, we'll come at it that way too.
There's the county bar is having a family law, and it's a GAL, what are we? Seminar on March 4th. You'll get your advanced hours. It has like 2 hours of ethics, a diversity, but one of the topics is Scott Sifton, who just termed out of the Senate, Sarah Unziker, and Simone talking about legislation, what's coming up, and what we can do. So that's one of the topics. I think you'll get information about it soon. What?
Is that an email, Sarah? Can you forward that out to us?
I don't have it yet, but it's March 4th. I think Lisa Moore is putting it together, and Jen and I have helped, but it's going out soon, right, Jen?
Yeah, you guys will have it very soon, but just mark your calendar. It's a full day and it's really great.
Yeah, I think there's some good topics. I mean, it just really is some good topics.
And it covers your diversity too. I don't know if Sarah hit that one. It covers like everything you need.
Okay. All right. I think we had a good meeting today. I think our purpose and how we can help Elaine, we're there. And again, we're there for you to support you emotionally too, because I can't imagine the angst that this causes you. And it shouldn't happen to you. We know that. We do not want to lose Elaine as a GAL. Shouldn't happen to anybody here. And because somebody has decided they can do it, we're not going to just be passive and not try and help you and help ourselves. Okay?
Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it. I really
Absolutely. And thanks to Sarah and Hank for getting this organized to get us together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
Long overdue.
The strength in numbers for us.
There sure is.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.